Driving under the influence is an incredibly dangerous risk. We will examine the chances that one takes when being subjected to a breath analyzer, and how getting a DUI while in college might just cost you the career you are going to school to get. Is it worth it? That great time out with buddies after class and then driving home could end your career, or possibly your life. The information in this presentation should make all of you consider the options. Those of you thinking that the odds of getting caught are in your favor need to reconsider. The odds are against you. Do you think you know when you have crossed the line of having too much to drink to get behind the wheel? Can you tell the difference between a 0.05 and a 0.08 blood alcohol content? I know I cannot. That is why I never take the chance of driving after drinking any amount of alcohol. Professor Hansen from the University of New York strengthens my resolve to not drive after any amount of alcohol by highlighting how inaccurate breath analyzers can be in an article titled Breath Analyzer Accuracy. He suggests that breath analyzers are inaccurate 23% of the time. That is nearly 1 in 4 breath analyzers that are unreliable. The professor goes on to discuss what factors can lead to faulty readings. He points out that painters, diabetics, people with a fever, and smokers are likely to have false readings. In one example, he discusses a sober painter tested 20 minutes after painting a room. He showed a blood alcohol content of 0.12, exceeding the legal limit by 50%. My point is this: even though you think you are good to drive, you are taking a chance that the breath analyzer will confirm this. Even if you have a truly 0.06 or 0.07 blood alcohol content, a breath analyzer may show otherwise. The only way to avoid becoming a victim to an inaccurate breath analyzer is to avoid putting yourself in a situation in which you might be subjected to one. Are you willing to risk your money, career, and the trust others have in you on the accuracy of a breath analyzer? I am not. Although driving under the influence is a major risk for anyone, certain people are more likely than others to take that risk.
All right, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about demographics of people driving under influence. I'm going to talk to you about the primary age of people who are driving under influence, a little bit about race and gender of the most likely to drive under influence, and we're also going to talk about, are you more likely to see DUIs in rural areas compared to urban areas? So I want to start off by talking about age group. It should not come as any surprise. Young adults aged 21 to 25 are most likely to drive under the influence. Of those individuals, white, biracial, Native American males are the most likely in this age group to drive under influence, and are they not only the most likely to, they also are the most likely to admit to driving under influence at some point. I'm not sure if that's a good thing to admit that you're driving under influence. This doesn't mean that females and African Americans aren't doing it. They're just not dumb enough to admit to it and maybe even be proud of it. So we know that at age 21 to 25, you're the most likely to drive under the influence of alcohol. So let's talk about a little bit when it comes to rural areas compared to urban areas. There's a higher arrest rate in the rural areas for drinking and driving or driving under influence. In rural areas, of 100,000 arrests, 643 of them are for driving under influence. That's compared to the urban area, where out of 100,000 arrests, 332 of them are for driving under influence. And then if you want to really look at it, you can look at in those rural areas that have higher DUI rates, young adults, 21 to 25 year olds, are the most likely in the rural areas to get caught for DUI. So that just goes to show you that rural areas and 21 to 25 year old is where you're going to get caught. I know Jason Aldean has that song, Chilling on a Dirt Road, cold one in the console, however it goes, but that doesn't make it right. So just because you're on that backcountry road, driving around, drinking with your buddies, doesn't mean it's safe and that you won't get caught. Unfortunately, when these group of people do choose to drive under influence, they don't think about the potential cost. William Nichols is going to tell you a little bit about the cost of driving under the influence.
Hello, everybody wants to get a college degree, correct? Yes. And everybody wants to keep as much of this in their pocket as they can. I know I did. So, with that being said, if you get a DUI during college, or any time, you could be charged anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 in court cost fees, license renewal fees, ignition interlock device items, and insurance increase rates. Another big expense would be possibly to get your vehicle out of the tow yard and also being on the electronic home monitoring system. Another straddle you might have is finishing your degree after getting a DUI. That traumatizes a lot of students when they get a DUI. They just feel like they're just not going to finish college. Another thing that institutions could do to help prevent this is have programs in place for people who get DUIs. That would help a lot of students out because a lot of students don't know what to do. Financial loss is a big thing for college institutions. A lot of students just drop out. After they get a DUI, they feel like they just can't go on. So with that being said, in order to keep you in the books, please don't drink and drive anytime. However, ruining one's own life only scratches the surface. The results of drunk driving can be even more severe. Thank you.
Every year, thousands of lives are ended as a result of drunk driving. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration puts out an annual data summary of all auto accidents. The statistics presented in this section can be found in the summary for 2012. In that year, there were 12,041 traffic fatalities nationwide, where the driver's blood alcohol content was greater than 0.01. Of those fatalities, nearly 10,000 involved a driver whose blood alcohol content was greater than 0.08, the legal limit in all 50 states. This shows that laws alone cannot prevent all drunk driving. Everyone who drives needs to make a conscious and intelligent decision about getting behind the wheel before consuming even one alcoholic beverage, and that includes each of you in the audience. Do not be a contributor to the leading cause of auto accident fatalities. In 2012, 31% of all vehicular deaths were caused by drunk drivers, by far the leading percentage. This is an absolutely unacceptable number and can be prevented by simply using our heads before socializing. For those who still do not believe that drunk driving is a serious problem, I present the most disturbing statistic relating to DUI. 1,168 children, ages 14 or younger, were killed by drunk drivers in 2012. Reflect on that for a moment. That's 1,168 innocent lives that were ended by someone else's negligence. Driving under the influence of alcohol is a problem that needs to be brought to an end. Although it's now obvious that not everyone thinks of the dangers before drinking alcohol, all of you in the audience now should. As this presentation has shown, getting a DUI while in college might cost you the career or degree that you're trying to achieve. Being convicted of a DUI while attending college may not only cost you a lot of money now, but also over a lifetime. It is also beneficial for school administrations to create programs to deal with DUI, to prevent losing students and their tuition funds. Those who are at higher risk for attempting to drive while intoxicated have been highlighted, and the deadly consequences of their actions have been illustrated. It's been explained why rumors claiming that it's possible to get away with irresponsible behavior should never be trusted. You will get caught when stopped by the police. And finally, after leaving this auditorium, each of you needs to ask yourself a serious question. Is that great time out with the buddies after class, then driving home drunk, worth your career, or even worse, your life?